Listen, look at me. You with the two teams. You're a fucking fraud. Not you, Brett. I'm talking to the other people that are gonna be like, hey, Brett, you can have two teams. No, you can't.
I
Because
have
this is where the fraud comes in. You can't want your team to lose the Super Bowl. Hold on. Where's my mic? Here it is. There it goes. It dropped. That's what I just did.
Welcome back, everybody. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll. Charles is always daydreaming, and we're just two guys that love BS at work. How you doing today, man?
I'm right. No complaints. Another day. We're here. It's been 2 weeks since the last pod, only because of, more logistical problems on both of our ends. But we're here to talk about some football today. Yeah. And by some football, I don't mean the Giants. I mean actual, football and the sport that we love. Probably some good games, kind of like what's going on with the Ravens the last 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah. So far, the primetime game, Monday night, last night kind of screwed it up. But the primetime games so far have been excellent. I mean, Ravens, Chiefs, as a Steelers fan, I was pissed. That was a loss that I had circled in for the Ravens. But I got to tip my hat to Lamar Jackson. He played phenomenal. And in all seriousness, like, you got to love his toughness and his ability to just shrug off bad crap. I mean, there was a time where his last 2 quarters, he had 4 turnovers, right? He had 2 fumbles in the fourth quarter against the Raiders, which literally lost him the game. And then he had 2 picks in the first quarter against the Chiefs. So he could have, hung his head and be like, "Yo, man, I don't got it." But he did what he does. He ran the ball. He was unstoppable running the ball, and they won the game. It was a great game. Might be the game of the year so far. Obviously, it's week 2.
I don't know. The Monday night game of week 1 with the Vegas Raiders and the Ravens.
Well, okay, so the Ravens are in the two top games of the year.
So yeah, and to your point about Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh showing complete faith in whatever Lamar Jackson wanted to do with the game on the line.
That's all you can ask for. Matter of fact, I do want to talk about that. I think that's the difference between great teams and good teams. You saw where that was kind of the theme of the weekend. Like, give it to your guys and let them do what they do, right? Without question. Like, hey, Lamar, like, he even said, I knew he was going to say yes, but, just want to ask, like, hey, Lamar, you want to go for it? Yeah. Everybody knew it was going to be a QB sneak. There was no reason at all for anybody else to touch the football. And Lamar Jackson got that first down to seal the deal. It's one of those weird things on the Chiefs end. And John Harbaugh even said it, like, I'm pretty sure if the Chiefs were in that same position, they would have done the same thing because they had Patrick Mahomes. And it's kind of funny, like, we talk about Matt Ryan and the Falcons and they should have ran the ball and all this other stuff. But there is a reason why coaches say, yo, if I'm going to go out, I want it in my quarterback's hands. That's the guy we paid all the big bucks. Remember, Matt Ryan, that was his MVP season. That was like the one time he was considered like a top 5 quarterback. It's like, yo, and we also forget Julio had the play of the game just a couple plays before that with the toe drag on the sidelines. So it's this weird thing, like, okay, the smart thing to do is to run the ball. But your gut tells you, yo, man, if I'm going out, I need it in my quarterback's hands. And the Chiefs saw that firsthand too. They gave it to Edwards-Helaire and he fumbled it. Or was it Edwards-Helaire? Yeah, I think it was Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah. And also, but also to the running point that the Ravens, that's what they do well. And I don't understand the shade Lamar Jackson gets from a lot of different fans, not just Steelers fans or, the AFC North haters that just don't like him because he's the Ravens quarterback. But there's so many people that just discount how good or why he would be in an elite conversation and just look at his throwing stats and completely negate the fact of how good he is with his legs and on the ground and the threat that presents, because they've lost 16 starters in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, all the running backs they have right now, their first running back would have been their third on the regular depth chart.
Right.
So, and they're still running the ball dominantly. And Lamar Jackson, is he the same quarterback without his legs and that mobility? And how long is that going to last? And all those questions are great. Whoop-de-doo. But as of right now, we have not seen anyone actually be able to stop him consistently. There's been instances, but not consistently. And what you said about the heart, If he didn't have the heart, Harbaugh wouldn't believe in him like that.
Right.
And that speaks volumes to the leader and quarterback Lamar Jackson actually is.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you just gotta tip your cap. Like there's certain, like even my dad said, there's certain times where you just gotta tip your cap and say, hey man, he's just a great player, and great players do great things. That's just
Mhm.
what happens. And that was one of those games.
Going up against a great team. Like
Yeah,
the Raiders might be better than we thought they were.
yeah.
Number one.
The Raiders are better than what we thought they were. As a Steelers fan, I still believe that's the game we had to win. You upset, and I only say that because this is a year you know that the offense is going to be a challenge. This is a year you know if you're going to win games, it's going to be ugly. You're going to have to take your chances. It's going to be rough all year. You won in Buffalo. So granted, you can make the case that you're 1-1 anyway, right? And if you had us winning against the Raiders but losing against Buffalo, but because you got that upset win, this is one of those years they have to take advantage of every single win on their schedule. And the Raiders are a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team, but at home, season opener, after winning Buffalo, that's a game that you have to win if you want to make the playoffs, right? It's just one of those games you have to win. And the Steelers offense is just not good right now. It's just not good. And the Raiders, all respect in the world, they are for real. But the problem with the Raiders is they kind of show us this every year. Like they start out hot and we say, oh, what about Derek Carr? What about the Raiders? And then somehow, some way by the end of the year, it's like, oh, that's why we don't consider them a great team. So I'm not hating. I got a lot of people, friends of mine that are diehard Raiders fans. I actually am happy for them when the Raiders win because I like the way
Shout
they
out Raider Nation.
yeah, like the way they lose sometimes, like I get it. It's like, damn, like you feel bad for Raiders fans. The way they almost lost against the Ravens. It's like, wow.
That game was crazy.
Yeah, like dude getting stopped at the one when they thought it was the game winning touchdown, and then they threw an interception like 2 plays later, and it's just like, wow,
And
here
the
we go.
game winning lob.
Yeah.
That
It's
was
just
some
like,
schoolyard. My guy is going to beat your guy. I'm just going to chuck it up type of win.
yeah, and it's one of those things like, man, like we talk about all the time as Giants and Steelers fans, like the heart palpitations you have every Sunday. I can't even imagine what it's like for Raiders fans because I feel like when they win, it's weird. When they lose, it's even weirder. So, the Raiders are one of those teams. Like I know as a Steelers fan, I'm supposed to hate them because they're like one of our historic rivals. But like I said, I know a lot of good people that are Raiders fans. So I am happy when they win. Obviously not Sundays. Like, I'm picking my team over your team, but the rate I want the Raiders to be good. I feel like the NFL is better when the Raiders are good. I'm in wait and see mode because I've seen this movie before, unfortunately. So we'll see. We'll see. But they have all the talent to be for real. They did beat the Chiefs last year. Like they're a good team. So
But what do you? I haven't watched the Steelers, so I'm not even being a smartass when I'm asking this. What is the issue with the Steelers? You said it was offensively because I've heard the defense has been good. I'm saying I heard because I have not watched either of those games. So why am I going to come up here and be a fraud?
here's the issue with the Steelers, right? Everybody's trying to blame Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, he's past his prime. He's past his prime. Yes, he's past his prime, but it's three major issues. Two of them we know about. One of them I don't think a lot of people are saying. One, obvious one, the offensive line just isn't good. Um, they
Join the
can
club.
they can pass block a little bit, not great, but they cannot run block for anything. And because of that, we can't run the ball. Even when Najee Harris is a good running back, we cannot run the ball. We're one dimensional. That's not good. And there's a reason for that. If we have time, I'll get into that later. Two, because that is weird that usually if you have an O line, they can run block but can't pass block. It's really rare when you see a team that's better pass blocking than run blocking.
Because it's a timing thing, and that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah,
you're better at holding somebody back and not just creating a hole.
Right, and I'll get into it now. One of his is we lost our offensive line coach a couple years ago, Mike Munchak, who's by far the best offensive line coach in the NFL, and the new guy we have. Well, not new guy. He's been there for the last couple of years, and it showed ever since we lost our offensive line coach. Our running game has been like bottom 3 in the league every year since then. The new person that we have, he does this system where it's like you're chopping your feet when you're blocking, which is stupid because you get no power doing that. especially on run blocks when you're supposed to be the aggressor and pushing forward and, like you said, creating those holes. If you're just chopping your feet and not using those big legs of theirs to get leverage, you can't create holes. The reason they do that is because it protects the offensive line better. The offensive line had a lot of injuries. Marquise Pouncey, every single time he got hurt was because somebody rolled up on him. So this system, the way they do it now, is supposed to protect offensive linemen. So if somebody rolls up under you, your legs aren't locked in. You have a better chance of just falling down and getting back up instead of somebody, hitting you when your leg is straightened up and that's an ankle, that's a knee, whatever. So yeah, it's great you're protecting the players, but you're not able to block like that because you have no leverage when you're trying to block. So that's why our offensive line sucks. I get it, but it is what it is. Two, also obvious.
You don't got to reinvent the wheel, guys.
Yeah. Again, I get it because we had a lot of injuries because of roll-ups and stuff like that. But that's part of the game, unfortunately. It's like, I don't know. There's no way you can really fix that without compromising your offensive line, which is what we're doing. Two, Ben is past his prime. I still think he's good. He's still an NFL quarterback. But the problem is, if you have no line, if you cannot run the ball, and when you don't have great receivers, which is quiet as is kept as number 3, we have a trio of really, really good receivers. None of them are great. None of them are number ones. I think they're all number 2 receivers on any other team, which is okay. Like you can win like that if you have a great quarterback and a great line. But when your quarterback is no longer great and when your offensive line is mediocre at best, you need your receivers to consistently get open. And we don't have guys that can consistently get open. So Ben Roethlisberger cannot operate the way he needs to operate. So the fact that he's past his prime, that's a problem too. And the sad thing about it is all 3 things, if only one of them was fixed, our offense would be much better. But unfortunately, you're not going to turn back the clock. You're not going to have prime Big Ben Roethlisberger because he's proven he can do it with a less than stellar O-line and less than stellar receivers before. But that was in his prime when he could run around and shrug off defenders and, extend plays for 7-10 seconds. He can't do that.
When did he have less than stellar receivers?
People forget before Antonio Brown, our receiving core was not great. He made
Mike Wallace?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Mike Wallace. What did he do since he left?
Oh, that's the game we're playing. What did he do?
No, I'm serious. No, I'm serious. Mike Wallace, like most of Ben's early stages of his career, we had that. We had a bunch of
Antonio Holmes, Plaxico Burress.
Yeah, we had Plaxico Burress.
These were number 1 guys. That's all I'm saying.
Santonio Holmes was a number 1 on the Steelers.
He was a number 1 on the Jets too, and the Jets playoff team at that.
Okay.
Just saying, I don't have a
okay, but I'm saying the Mike Wallace years, those were not great receivers.
Wasn't AB there during Mike Wallace?
AB didn't start then. AB was like the 4th receiver on the team. He started once Mike Wallace left, but he's had mediocre run before we had Marquise Pouncey and David DeCastro and those guys. Our offensive line was really bad, and we had just decent receivers. Ben Roethlisberger made them look good because again, he's running around for 7 seconds, and anybody's going to be open if you can't guard somebody for 7 seconds. So yeah, you can make it work with a prime Ben Roethlisberger at this stage of his career, where he's not able to extend plays as consistently as he used to. You need guys to consistently get open. We don't have those guys.
So would you consider this the worst wide receiving core that you've had with Big Ben?
No, not at all. Not at all, because I still think Deontay, I think he's really good. I think he can be a number 1 one day. Chase Claypool, he's obviously young. He's only in his 2nd year. He can be a number 1 one day. But right now we have, again, they're not bad. They're really, really good. The problem is in the NFL, everybody's really, really good. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference between a bona fide number 1 and a number 2. Like bona fide number 1s are elite receivers that are always open and or will always catch the ball when you throw it to them. Our guys can get open, can catch the ball. They'll do it more often than not, but consistently open, consistently catching the ball, that's not where they're at right now. Juju at this point, I don't know. I don't think he'll ever get better. He's obviously just no more than a really good number 2, which again is fine. You can win like that if you have a good offensive line and or a quarterback that can operate like that. Ben Roethlisberger at this stage of his career can't do that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So like I said, I'm not saying our wide receiver core sucks. I just think they're a bunch of really good number twos. We don't have any number ones. And sometimes you need that dude. We don't have that dude on the team. So that's the problem. It's those three things all happening at the same time, which is why our offense isn't good anymore. And if you fix one of them, the offense can be good. The only thing that's probably can be fixed is the O-line. There's 2 rookies starting. We have Trey Turner, who's new. So you're hoping it's just a chemistry thing. And by the time, as the season wanes on, they'll get better as a unit. But if not, they're susceptible to lose to anybody because in today's NFL, you have to be able to score. I don't care how good your defense is, you have to be able to score.
And your division isn't getting any easier.
Right. Exactly.
You're trending in the wrong direction when your division is probably the most competitive it has been or will be this side of the 21st century.
Yeah. I mean,
the Ravens and Steelers have been a rivalry of the century so far. I think that's one of the best rivalries football had since the turn of the century. But at the same time, this is probably the best the Browns have been since they became the Browns again. The Bengals have the most hope they've had since they had Carson Palmer and Chad Johnson and TJ Husman-Zeta. So, like this is like what you're saying exactly what I was saying. This is why I was smiling, just for the clarity of it. What I was saying 5-6 years ago when the Giants had a decent run with Eli. Apply everything you just said. The O-line isn't that good. This isn't prime Eli, but he's still an NFL quarterback. That's why I was like, wow. Karma, bitch. But anyway, like I know you're like 2 years into this way longer than I thought.
But here's the thing: as what I do love about, we're still young on both sides of the ball. It's one of those things where, unfortunately, this is probably Ben's last year.
You've been saying that for like 2-3 years.
No, I mean, well, his contract runs out this time, so that's why it definitely is probably going to be his last year. I wouldn't mind them bringing him back, but if they bring him back, that means this offseason, the offensive line has to be the commitment. You know what I mean? First round pick, second round. I was pissed off in our draft because, yes, I love Najee Harris. Yes, I actually really do love our tight end that we got. But my thing is those guys are useless if you have no offensive line. And so far, they tend to be right now. They're not. Najee Harris had his first touchdown week 2. He looks really good. But the point of the matter is, if without the offensive line, we can't operate like this. So I wouldn't mind if Ben said I'll sign a 2-year deal, and they do that, and they spend this entire draft on offensive line help. If our offensive line is fine, we're going to be a good football team. So
you cut the cord with Ben, man.
I mean, it's easy to say that, but do you like Daniel Jones? You don't.
I don't. But if we would have cut the cord earlier with Eli, we would have had better choices at quarterback.
Right, but you were also one of those people that said, "Oh no, keep Eli."
And that's the knowledge I am passing to you now. That do not do that.
Well, and no shade. The difference is I don't think we're gonna have the 3rd pick in the draft or the 2nd pick when you pick Saquon. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to be in a position. Yeah, if we suck and we don't win another game the rest of the year and we're 1-15 with the 1st pick in the draft, then yes, I would be the first to say, all right, well, maybe we should take advantage of this and see if one of these dudes is our future. But if we're 7-9 or whatever, or 7-10, whatever the new math would be, 7-10. And we're only like the 12th pick in the draft or something like that. That's not me saying, let's go get a quarterback. To me, that would make sense to just get the best offensive lineman you can get.
Speaking of high picks in the draft, the rookie quarterbacks have kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that's like a hot take or even deep. It's only 2 weeks in. They're rookies and they were drafted to bad teams. But Sunshine down in Jacksonville hasn't been lighting it up. But then again, once again, no one expected him to. So like he benefits from the low expectations.
Which isn't fair, but go ahead.
Which isn't fair. But at the same time, it kind of is. Once again, rookie year. So whatever. But
I will repeat, if he was black, they would not make any excuses for him. But I digress. Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Sunshine because I don't want to throw shade at Sunshine. I want to throw shade at the Jets and talk about Zach Wilson because, good Lord, they make me feel better about being a Giants fan. I was sitting there. The main teams I've watched like the most time of these first couple of weeks have been the Giants, the Jets, and the Ravens. Just throwing my cards out there. Those are the three teams, like the three. Like
I still feel. Well, you know how I was about Sam Darnold. I was pissed that the Jets did that. I'm like, why would you give up on this dude when you never even gave him a chance? And you did more for Zach Wilson in 3 days than you did for Sam Darnold in 3 years. So maybe this is karma going back to the Jets saying, yeah, jerks, like don't do that. But I'll be the first to admit, watching Zach Wilson in preseason, seeing him in that first game, I think this is one of those rare trades that will work out for both teams. Sam Darnold's been playing really well for the Panthers. They're 2-0. Yes, sir. And Zach Wilson, yeah, he had a terrible game against the Patriots.
Terrible. It was bad.
Against the Patriots, first home game. I'm not gonna, put the bus card on there yet.
Oh no, I'm not either. But I want to say the thing that alarmed me more in the second game than it did in the first, because he played a decent second half, week one. He made some adjustments, yada yada yada. The problem with the first home game against Bill Belichick and the Pats, obviously, Bill Belichick is a nightmare for rookie quarterbacks. That regardless if you're playing in the same division as him, but the problem was how flustered, or how, if it was last year or 2 years ago, seeing ghosts Zach Wilson was. And he looked like he was in his own head before halftime. He looked like he because some of the throws he made were just bad throws. Like, I heard some people on the radio blaming the receivers for not being able to get open. That's one thing. But literally just chucking a ball up and saying, here's a prayer, go get it. That's not doing anybody any favors, and certainly not your rookie quarterback. That's the thing that he could completely turn around. He could fix. It wouldn't be a problem if he just adjusts that, and that's the decision making. But that's why you took him that high, because you had so much faith in his decision making, something we have not seen so far, because when he panics, and that was exactly the problem that the Jets said they had with what's his face on the Bears. That's why they didn't take him.
Yeah, you can hear there's a huge siren going on.
Oh, sorry. No, for the podcast listeners, Brett was just miming yes to me. He was just like, yes, yeah.
No, forget Justin Fields. That's the reason why they want to get rid of Sam Darnold, right? Because he panics and he makes bad decisions. Well, here's the thing: when you play on a bad team, a lot of times you're a young quarterback. That happens a lot, right? Sam Darnold played there were games where people said that he is not an NFL quarterback. And I said, well, yeah, he has no line. He has no receivers. He has no defense. He has no running back. He has no coach. He has nothing. And he's out there just trying to figure it out. That is not the case with Zach Wilson. He has some receivers, not, again, maybe not great receivers, but he has receivers better than Sam Darnold had. He has a much better line than Sam Darnold, although Mekhi Becton was out. So that's a big deal. That's the best player on their offensive line. And your best player offensive line out against the Patriots is just asking for trouble. Again, I think he's going to be fine. He's a rookie. That's what rookies do. But that's why you throw him out there week one and hope they figure it out.
Wait. You have more faith in Zach Wilson and the Jets than Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars 2 weeks into both their rookie careers?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that, sir?
Yeah, two words. Urban Meyer, yes.
And the Ohio State shade continues. We're at a good streak.
It's not about that. It's just the fact that Urban Meyer is not a development guy for quarterbacks. That's just not his MO. He gets great talent and he wins with them. But what quarterback has he ever developed into a great NFL player? I don't know. And Trevor Lawrence, as good as he is coming in, he's still a rookie quarterback. He still needs development. And everything that he's done this offseason has not shown me that Urban Meyer can handle the NFL. Whether it's bad hirings, whether it's bringing in Tim Tebow to cause unnecessary distractions.
You said that early. I called him a hater, and I'm not an Ohio State fan. I just know he hates on Ohio State. So I was having fun with him. But before this offseason, Brett was saying exactly what was going to happen. And it's kind of messed up because I was hopeful. I was really hopeful for the whole thing because they're not my team. They're just like the Panthers to me. I'm older than that team, and I know what it's like to like a team that plays second, third fiddle in a market. So I empathize a lot with Jaguars fans. And they got their guy. Like if the Jets got Trevor Lawrence, I would be more excited because honestly, I was a bigger Trevor Lawrence fan in college. I don't watch BYU games. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real. And it doesn't look good. And it doesn't look good not because of the quarterback. Same with like Zach Wilson. My problems with him are from the 2 games I've watched. Not necessarily, I don't think he can get better. He definitely can get better. But down there in Gainesville, I think it's Gainesville, right? Jacksonville, Gainesville.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, right. I don't know Florida that well. All the family I have is in Southern Florida, so. But
yeah, it's that. Like I said last pod, if Urban Meyer leave, well, maybe he'll leave for USC at the end of the year. But if he's gone by the end of this year, then I would say Trevor Lawrence has a chance. As long as Urban Meyer is there, I think he has no chance. And
I'm glad you brought that up. So that's rumors this week because we're sticking on brand that me and Brett are just winging it with the most things that we want to talk about because it was unlike previous incarnations of this pod. We actually had zero conversation about what we were going to talk about besides football. So the USC thing is interesting to me because those rumors popped up before week 2 happened. Like that's how bad it's going. That's how bad
immediately.
No, and that's how bad he is with all this BS. Like he's like the reports of him rubbing the staff the wrong way. You rub the staff the wrong way in such a short amount of time, you ain't going to get 1 year at work. Like on some regular people shit. If 6 months go by and everything that you hear from your coworkers is how annoying you are, or they don't like working with you, or they're questioning your judgment, and there's zero positive things coming out of your environment from where you work, that is terrible. That's a toxic work environment because you're in the honeymoon phase still.
But here's the thing. Here's why I didn't think it was going to work. And to be very honest with you, this is one of the reasons why college coaches have a hard time in the NFL. In college, it's all about you. You are the rock star. You are the center of attention. It's why Nick Saban will never leave Alabama. I don't care. I don't care what the job is, unless it's like a scandal or something where he needs to jump ship, right? And we see
which in college football means he has like 200 bodies buried under the field for Nick Saban to get kicked out of Alabama.
Right. But my point is, like, Urban Meyer is the man in Florida. He's the man at Ohio State. At Jacksonville, you're just an employee, bro. Like, no offense, like in the grand scheme of things, you're just an employee. And the 19 or the 22-year-old guy that you just drafted, he's the franchise. He's the rock star. He's the guy that everybody cares about. That's a big culture shift for a lot of people, especially when you've been doing it for so long. If you're one of those people that had dreams of NFL coaching and you just did your college thing just to get there, but you understand what you're getting into by going to the NFL, that's one thing. But a guy like Urban Meyer, that is a huge, huge culture shift from everything being hand and knee done the way you want it to be done to now you have to adhere by everybody else's rules. But in your mind, like, well, I'm still the head coach. That still should mean something. Yeah, it does, but not really. These dudes get paid more than you now. You know what I mean? At Ohio State, you were the only dude getting paid. Whoa.
Oh,
well, you would only do getting paid.
Hey, don't get in other people's pockets. He was the only dude getting paid.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, it's not like now you going to yell at somebody, they make more money than you. They're like, yo, what are you talking about? So he's trying to, and these are grown ass men. These aren't kids. So he's trying to do this college environment.
The rah-rah pep rally bullshit.
Right. And not in a good way. Cause like I hear that Matt Rule kind of does that in Carolina, but it's the camaraderie stuff. It's the fun part of college. Whereas Urban Meyer is trying to do the disciplinary and stuff of college, like making people run for like absolutely no reason and stuff like that.
Like a 29-year-old that's been getting paid for 6 years wants to hear your bullshit.
Right. It's like, come on, bro. Like it's not going to work.
But he doesn't fit for USC either. Like I'm a casual
Oh no,
college football fan.
I don't agree with that. I think
No, but hear me out. Like I don't think he would be that fit in USC. I just don't. I don't like. Don't get me wrong. It's college. Maybe he'll attract the kids, as you said, like he did in Ohio State. But I just think those are two different programs. Those are two different types of personalities, swags, however you want to put it. Like
that's
those
very
aren't the
true.
same thing.
That's very
Like
true.
Nick Saban could work. Does Nick Saban like? Does it look right if Nick Saban was in a Hurricanes uniform? That just doesn't have the same feel to it. Like that's kind of what the vibe I'm getting. That if like granted, I also respect Nick Saban a lot more than Urban Meyer, but at the same time, Urban Meyer is an all-time college football coach, so he can go anywhere.
Well, it's funny you said Nick Saban in Miami. He was the Dolphins coach before he left for Alabama. But like, I mean, it's
I'm decent at this.
the reason why I say Urban Meyer, because I do agree that USC needs a name, right? There's certain schools you can't just get a guy, you got to get a name.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. I was watching Around the Horn for like the first time in forever, right? And Bill Plassey said it's the top 3 job in college football right now, and they were like, "Yeah, okay." And he was like, "No, with NIL, name, likeness, and image, whatever it's called, USC should be a top 3 job. You're getting LA kids who can get paid off of their likeness, like." Nah, that should be a top 3 job. And when he put it like that, I was like, you know what? That's a good point. Like, yeah, like,
of course it is.
Like football wise, no, you got Alabama, you got Ohio State, you got probably some other SEC school before you even think about USC. But now that money is really getting involved, and these dudes are signing $1 million deals before they even hit the field. We forget how lit USC used to be when Pete Carroll was there, when you had Snoop Dogg and people coming to every game. And it was
that's why I didn't question top 3 job. I was like, yo, if they want to give me that job, I take that job.
Yeah, but that's why you need a name. Urban Meyer is a name, but to your point, his style of coaching, I don't know if that works in LA.
I think, and just to compare different personalities.
Reggie Bush said Deion Sanders. I think that would be perfect, but
bro, that's a movie. That sounds like a movie. You get the
old
old primetime quarterback.
The perfect hire, but to me, I really like what he's doing for HBCUs. I really like the mission he's on. I want him to stay down there and continue to do the good work there and not go to USC. But if we're being honest, case closed. As soon as Reggie Bush said Deion Sanders, I'm like, yo.
Because honestly, it's college football.
Prime time LA. Like that.
Prime time could always go back. Even if he sucks at USC, he goes back to an HBCU. He can still keep doing all the good work. And that's not me throwing shade. I never thought I'd be singing praises of Greg Schiano again. Here are the Scarlet Knights at 3-0. So if Greg Schiano can improve a program like Rutgers with a little bit of offseason, imagine what a program like USC could do if they get the right hire.
Oh no, Deion Sanders is I honestly can't think of a better hire.
Deion Sanders is one of my favorite players, and I'm a Giants fan.
No, seriously, I honestly can't. The swag, everything you're talking about, the swag. I mean, his name is Prime Time.
Oh, the only way it'd be more perfect if he actually did become a trader. This is never going to happen, guys. But he became the Hurricanes head coach in Miami. He's not doing that unless the money's right, like obviously. But because there's the Florida connection with him, he'd be like, no, I'm not doing that.
No way. Florida State would burn it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
assassinate.
So the closest he can get to that is USC.
Yeah, no, that's true. It would be the perfect hire. But I really want him to stay at Jackson State. I think he's doing a great job, and I'm very proud of him. But yeah, Urban Meyer, it's hard. It's hard to find that right fit. Urban Meyer is not a fit for any NFL team, let alone the Jaguars. And I feel sorry for Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully, he only has to deal with Urban Meyer for 1 year, and they get a better coach. Eric Bieniemy was another guy they considered, I thought, but he didn't want the job. But he's also a name linked to USC. But I don't think he's going to leave for USC. I think if he leaves the Chiefs, it will only be for an NFL job, which makes sense.
I don't know, man. Like not that the NFL job wouldn't make sense, but leaving the Chiefs for a college situation that could be ideal to you, not necessarily ideal to the greater sports world, but there's certain jobs that me and you would take. If we could have a list of 10 sports jobs, there's like between 5 and 10 it's pretty much going to be like, I like living there. I think it'd be cool to work there. I like this area.
The reason why I say he won't is because I think the guy that's the AD there now is the same dude that fired him when he was at Colorado. So it's one of those like, I would never work for you again type of things. So unless
sports politics, man.
Yeah.
Sports politics is as shady as real life politics because
sports politics is worse than like real life politics.
Yes, because it's more about the money than actual politics.
Right.
Which is ridiculous. I'm not clearing actual politics. It's corrupt as fuck. I'm just letting everyone know perception is reality. And that's how crooked college football is, because we're joking about how the coach was the only person getting paid at a university. And the whole world is like,
when we know for a fact that's why he left in the first place.
Yeah, and it's also like,
oh no, sorry, that's why Jim Tressel left.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They all suck.
Him.
Terrell Pryor lost shit for signing his own name on his shit. That's the most un-American thing I can imagine. That you have to pay for stuff with your name and you're not allowed to. Reggie Bush didn't win the Heisman. Like, so a reason why I'm probably not like a USC fan, right? Because when Reggie Bush, how old was I? I was like a freshman, maybe 8th grade or something when Reggie Bush happened. Like, that's kind of when I started getting into college football more than just like watching 1 or 2 games a year, was when the season that the Vince Young and Reggie Bush thing was going on. And you told me almost immediately that it didn't count. And like, I was like, why? Oh, because he made money off his name. Wait.
Had nothing to do with football.
Like, wait. So he didn't cheat? No. No.
He bought his mother a house. And what does that have to do with the Heisman? Nothing, but we got to take it away.
Because how did he make that money? America?
He's Reggie Bush. That's why he made the money. Kids, if you don't know who Reggie Bush is, please Google him.
He's the reason Kim Kardashian is famous.
Reggie freaking Bush.
Sorry, your name got attached to so much mids and dirt weed. You deserved better.
And I hated USC back then because that's all everybody ever talked about. USC. I probably hated USC more than I hated Ohio State, which tells you something because I hate Ohio State.
Yeah, that's probably one of the only teams you consistently hate.
Yeah. But USC was the ish back in the day. So I understand why they're like, nah, bro, we need the sizzle. We can't just be a good team. We need somebody who's gonna bring primetime back to LA. I mean, maybe Snoop Dogg. You know, he has a
oh God. I knew you were gonna say something ignorant. All right, before we have no time left and people get mad at me because I didn't say a damn thing besides how sad I am about the Giants. I guess I should bring up my Giants. Because I threw shade at the Jets, which isn't fair. I will admit that on the same broadcast. But I did that on purpose because fuck you guys. But the Giants have pissed me off and made me sad for years now. There's actually recordings of me telling Brett that I have zero faith and that if we get 2 wins, we'll be lucky. And that was last year. We had more than 2 wins. We had triple that. And I had a lot of faith in Joe Judge going forward. A lot of that faith, especially because with no offseason, no preseason.
And then the infamous kitchen tirade. Let's remind the people of when you almost destroyed my house.
We shouldn't have fucking drafted Daniel Jones, but that's besides the fucking point. See what you get me to do? I've been not cussing because your dad asked me to not cuss.
I'm sorry. You've been really good. I'll stop.
And then you had to bring it up again.
I'll stop. Continue.
So the problem with the Giants week 1 was the complete vanilla offense, Jason Garrett, and all the problems. I don't even know who that is. And all the problems that entails. That's how mad I am. I'm just making up names and cursing at people.
Isn't Sean Garrett an artist?
I don't know, dude. I'm
about to look this up. Go ahead.
I think that's just a made up name I just did. It's even worse. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Mr. 8-8. He's the one calling plays. And my cousin was the first person to actually point this out in real time to me about he's running Saquon Barkley like in offsets, in shotgun formation, making him go east and west and not north. Like, you have Saquon Barkley, point him north and tell him to run. and that's what he's effective at. And they're doing all these east-west type of play calls. That's one issue. The next issue is the terrible actual play calling, like in sequence. Okay, you have a whole plan mapped out. Why are you choosing to give the ball to the rookie when we just need a short gain for a first down on a third down, and then we lose yardage? Like, it's hard for me to explain because it sounds like I'm just making shit up and being stupid when I'm just trying to remember how stupid and bad the game planning really was. And then this past week, Daniel Jones played great against the Washington football team. Whoop-de-doo. The Giants always play great against the Washington football team. Daniel Jones is one of his only consistent things about his career is how good he plays against Washington. And guess what, everybody? We lost. I don't care how good Daniel Jones played in a loss. I don't care that it was by 1 point, because it doesn't really matter if it's by 1 point or it's by 50 points. It's an L. It doesn't have an asterisk like, hey, if you're really close by the end of the year and you might make the playoffs, this loss magically turns into a draw. No, we lost. He played great in a loss. And the worst part is he played great against a team he usually plays great against. There's no type of thing that even, okay, going forward, what do we get? We are in the same position we've been in for at least 1 year now. No, 1 year with Daniel Jones, because he has not grown.
No, you're in the same position you've been for the last 5 years.
No, because 2016 we had 10 wins and we actually made the playoffs.
No, what I'm saying, for the last 5 years you've been 0-2.
Thanks.
Longest stretch in NFL history.
Thanks.
We'll tie for the longest stretch.
NFL history. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think the last person to do that was the Rams back in like the mid-2000s.
Anything else you want to add?
No. Oh, okay. By the way, Sean Garrett was a singer-songwriter back in the 2000s. I knew that name. He had like one good song. But go ahead.
Thanks, Brett.
I'm here for you, bud.
And I'm sitting here wondering, why do we keep putting lipstick on a pig? Because what's good about this Giants team? There's talent on the team. The individual players have talent, but the GM, Dave Gettleman, has done nothing to let me have any faith in him when it comes to the roster that he's built. Because do we have an O-line? No. Like, even my favorite pick, the Saquon pick that Gettleman has done, is a questionable pick. I can admit that. I can be objective about that. So
finally, I told you it was a bad pick then.
It wasn't a bad pick. Oh yeah, because the other quarterbacks that were taken, they're definitely in the same spot, right?
Would you rather have Josh Allen right now or Daniel Jones?
I'm talking about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, what I'm talking about.
Sam Darnold looks better than Daniel Jones right now.
Oh my God.
Sam Darnold's 2-0. Daniel Jones is 0-2 this year. Would you rather have Lamar Jackson or Daniel Jones?
Lamar Jackson.
Just, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones.
I'd rather have Lamar Jackson. I wanted to draft Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
We still have Eli.
So really the only quarterback we're talking about right now is Josh Rosen, which you guys probably wouldn't have taken anyway. That
was the rumor.
All right, well, maybe you should have won Saquon then.
No, for real. The rumor that I remember being hyped over Josh Rosen. Chosen Rosen, bro.
Chosen Rosen.
That was a thing.
He might have been better I feel bad for that guy. You want to talk about never getting a shot. Wow.
Josh Rosen got less shots than Daniel Jones is getting.
Yeah.
And Daniel Jones has not improved in his turnovers at all. At all. Like,
he needs to go to the Saints and sit behind Drew Brees for a year, and he'll be all right.
Wow. This is what you want to do? You just want to watch me be in pain? You have nothing to actually add to the Giants conversation.
You know why? Because I tried to be nice the other day, and I texted you all that stuff, and you're like, we always play well against the Redskins.
That's my voice. Number one, that's my voice. Number two, I sound like Goofy when I talk to you.
That's what you say. Like, we
got no O-line. Yuck.
You were like, you had a bunch of FUs in there.
No, it wasn't a bunch of FUs. I told you to shut the fuck up. That was my first text back. Because this is Brett. I was gonna say, Brett texts me right after this game. I mean, the flag just happened. and they just kick this damn ball, and we just lose in that deflating fashion. He's like, well, you gotta look at the bright side. And it's like, shut the fuck up, Brett. We always beat the Redskins. Like, always. And here you are. The only time we haven't beat them with Daniel Jones, and you're like, oh, well, you know, they're a good defensive line, derp. And it's like,
he played really well. I was trying because that was a deflating loss. And I know if that was my team that lost like that, I would be losing my crap. So I was just hoping to text you something nice to be like, hey, man, don't worry about it. This is a good week to build off of. And you're like, there's nothing to build off of. We always beat the
there's nothing to build off of. Look, I was yelling so intensely. My cat's here now. Sasha has now joined the pod. First official sighting of Sasha on the pod on the YouTube. But there's nothing to build off of. Daniel Jones played decent, and we lost. Where's the building off of it?
I was trying to be positive.
Man, fuck your fake positivity. See, that's that bullshit. I know it's disingenuous positivity.
It's not disingenuous.
You're genuinely positive all the time. I know when you're just full of shit. You're actually a positive person. Out of the two of us, you'd probably be the more positive person.
Right.
Yeah. So I know when you're full of shit. I know
that night I was being positive. Now I'm not being positive. That night I was being positive. You're like,
brought up 5 youth.
Yeah, today I'm being a dick. No, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what is in my spirit today, but I was like, yeah, let me just pile on here. Maybe because I'm mad the Steelers lost. I'm like, you know what? Somebody else is suffering more than me.
Your day's coming.
No, listen, my Panthers are 2-0. I'm actually in a great mood. You know what I mean? Rutgers is 3-0. The Panthers are 2-0.
Oh, yeah, we had a poll on the Discussing Other People's Excellence group before we sign off here. And the poll, scientific poll, obviously, that I set up, open to the public, new group on Facebook, join Discussing Other People's Excellence. The public group got the old dope banner up. And I had a poll pretty much proving that Brett is a fraud. And why is Brett a fraud? Besides all the fraud things he always brings up all the time, like the two teams he likes, like he's a Steelers fan, is he a Panthers fan?
No. Oh, wait. Read what the poll said. And how did I come up with being a fraud when 2 out of 3 answers that support my case were the ones that led? What are you talking about?
Number one, the one that led is like you could be diehard for one team and casually follow another.
Okay.
And then there's hell no, you're a fraud.
Okay.
And then there's yes.
Okay.
Which you voted for and is the lowest of all the votes.
Okay. Yes. Okay, wait. But you combine those two.
That's not how. No.
Yes, it is.
We don't live in that type of democracy. We have one winner.
No. But really, most people say, yeah, basically you can. A lot less people said absolutely, and people said no. But the grand total basically said, yeah, you can.
But if you're casually rooting for another, that's not you being a fan of two teams.
Hey, listen. The point of the matter is, people on my side here.
Okay, if people are on your side, then you should have no problem putting this on wax. It is this year. Mm-hmm. It is the Panthers against the Steelers in the Super Bowl. Who do you want to win?
Either one.
No.
Actually, no. All right. Let me be very honest about that. If it's this year, I'm going to root for the Steelers because it's probably Ben Roethlisberger's last game.
Then you're not a Panthers fan.
But that's only because of the circumstances.
The circumstances that make you a Panthers fan.
No, if it was the other way around where it's like, yo, man, this might be Cam Newton's last game or something like that. We have a young quarterback that's going to be our future. We're probably going to be in Super Bowls again. I would root for the Panthers.
No.
I've explained that to you several times.
Yeah, you explaining it. Not that I don't understand what you're saying, like as it pertains to you. Mm-hmm. I'm your friend, and I'm not going to lie to you. Mm-hmm. And it's fraud talk because under no circumstances do you want your team. You can still casually root for the team.
By the way, since this will be on YouTube, in the comments below, can you root for 2 teams or more than 1 team? Because there's some people that got more than 1 team. But can you root for more than 1 team?
Frauds. Listen, look at me. You with the 2 teams. You're a fucking fraud. Not you, Brett. I'm talking to the other people that are gonna be like, "Yeah, Brett, you can have 2 teams." No, you can't. Because this is where the fraud comes in. You can't want your team to lose the Super Bowl. Hold on. Where's my mic? Here it is. There it goes. It dropped. That's what I just did.
you can root for both teams to win and be
Yes.
happy no matter what the outcome is. What
No, that's not how a fan works. You are not telling me your team loses the Super Bowl and you're happy.
I'm happy for the other team. Yeah.
Oh, fuck off! Like that is such a lie. Now you lying to the people.
No, but hold on. But like I explained to you before, right? Growing up, especially, it was cool because either the Steelers were about to win their 5th or 6th, or the Panthers would have won their 1st. So either one, I was happy because it's historic for one of the teams I'm rooting for. And I'm for the other team, it's like, yo, that sucks. But if you're gonna lose to anybody, I'm glad you lost to that team, or else you're fucking pissed. Dude, that's what I'm saying. So, for instance, I hate the Bucks. I think that's the most ironic part about this, right? The NBA is like the one sport I think a lot of people are allowed to get because people, for some reason, that's just culture, right? You're allowed to root for multiple teams because most people love players, right?
NBA is more acceptable, yeah.
Right. So for whatever reason, the NBA is the one sport I have always just rooted for the Nets. I could care less about any other team. And people are going to say, what about the Cavaliers? No, seriously. Every single time the Nets played the Cavaliers, I don't care if Kyle was on the Cavaliers, I was rooting for the Nets, and he knew this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm rooting for the Nets. I don't care what the circumstances is, unless it's one of those things. Unless it's really one of those things where it was the year where the Nets were god awful, and the Cavs winning that game would have helped them get like the number 1 seed or something like that. Then maybe it's like, okay, cool, Cavs go ahead and win that game because it's meaningless to us. And matter of fact, I'm probably rooting for us to lose so we can get a better draft pick. But that's right, that didn't happen because of Paul Pierce trade. So yes, I never rooted for the Cavaliers. That's the ironic part about this. But I have 2 baseball teams. At one point, I had 3. But I had 2 baseball teams. I have 2 football teams, and I only root for the Nets.
See, and that's why we have the best Nets pod that sometimes happens because we're the 2 realest Nets fans. But in other news, Brett is a fraud fan.
No, but and then here's the ironic part about that also. Football, I will only wear Steelers, Panthers stuff. I will not wear anything else. Baseball, I will only wear Yankees, Pirates stuff. I will not wear anything else. Basketball, I'll wear whatever. I don't care. But my team is the Nets. Like, now I've usually only wore Cavs stuff. This is probably the only other thing I've worn. But no, basketball, I'll wear whatever. If it's like, you threw me like a throwback T-Mac jersey, I would wear that. That's awesome. But I only root for the Nets.
I actually have jerseys that aren't Giants jerseys.
Yeah, no, football, I'm not wearing nothing else if it's not Steelers or Panthers. Baseball, I'm not wearing nothing else if it's not Yankees or
what
Pirates.
Team do you think? I have a bunch of different jerseys, right? But I have 2 jerseys from one team that isn't the Giants, and they're AFC. Which team do you think I have those 2 jerseys from?
I'm gonna say the Ravens stuff.
And okay, so for fun, which 2 players would you think it was?
Ed Reed and Ray Lewis.
Number 1, wonderful guess. I love the guess. Respect. I'm a defensive guy. That's a phenomenal guess. It's actually Larry Johnson and Priest Holmes from the Chiefs. I have 2 Chiefs jerseys.
Okay, that makes sense.
Why do I have it? Because $20 at the auction. That's why. And it's stitched and they're nice as hell. And I look good in those colors. And I have no beef because I'm not from the AFC West. So I also have a T.O. Bills jersey, and I also have a Mike Vick jersey. Falcons, because I don't have a
Falcons or Eagles.
How dare you?
I just wanted to make sure because you type of person like, oh yeah, Eagles. Why? And I'm like, fraud. Fraud.
You think I have an Eagles jersey in my closet?
I just want to make sure.
Oh, we have to go on live stream on IG, and I'm just going to go through my wardrobe. Like, check it out.
You wouldn't catch me dead with some wearing other. Like, if it's not Panthers, if it's not Steelers, I'm not wearing it. So people would say, "Oh, you're a fraud." I'm like, no, because you're wearing like a freaking Raiders jersey, but you're a Titans fan. Make it make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nah.
I don't have the NFC. The only NFC jersey I have that's not Giants is the Mike Vick one. That once again got for hella cheap. It's an authentic Stitch jersey, and I got obviously everyone knows when I got it.
Cool. So, what I'm saying is I don't judge, because what I'm saying is when people call me fraud, I'm like, yeah, I could call the fraud card to almost anybody. Is what I'm saying.
Well, you're a casual baseball fan, so you having more than one team, whatever. To me personally, whatever. Like, because baseball is actually more territorial than basketball is.
And in college, I'm a whore. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm a whore in college.
Yeah, you have like 8 teams.
Yeah. I feel like everybody does, though.
You love Rutgers. You love the Ohio State.
Yo, don't do that. I like Rutgers. I like OU. I like both OUs because Ohio and Oklahoma. I like LSU.
You're a Tar Heels fan?
Tar Heels. And I think that's it. It's those five, right? Five teams.
I guess I'm a what are we doing? This just gave me and Brett over on the phone. But
I am a fraud because I do like Georgetown too in basketball. I know that's an old Rutgers rival, but like AI, sorry.
All right. So Brett, tell them where they can find you so they can at you and let you know how much of a fraud you are.
I'm not a fraud, but go ahead and comment below if you disagree. You can find me at Never for Brett. That's NEVA_4 BRETT_ME on both Instagram and Twitter.
I'm at Not the Chuck D on all the socials. We are at _dope blog on Instagram. We just got that new group on Facebook if you want to try to find it discussing other people's excellence. And we're at www.thedope.blog, which I still forgot to put the YouTube stuff up on. Sorry.
What are we on Twitter?
Oh, dope blog, all one word. We still have a Twitter. Do I still operate that? I think I do.
We still have a Twitter.
That's how much I pay attention to that. Social media. And we will be back with more nerd stuff and football stuff.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe. It does major thing for us. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Oh, hell yeah. And Spotify and Apple and Podbean. Check the pod out all there. Let us know what you think, what you want us to talk about. More dope radios and stuff coming soon.
Yep. And join us next time as we can continue to discuss other people's excellence.
Oh, look at you. You remembered it at the end this time.